Have you ever felt like you were living in this pattern that had no name, but you felt like you kept on repeating it and repeating it? And even though other people have given you intellectual knowledge about it, have given you words and a framework for it, and it makes sense, but I've never connected those two things. I have two. Hi, I'm Sandy. In this video, I'm going to go over the trauma triangle, otherwise known as the drama triangle, in a more applicable way where I'm going to share a story with you on how I finally felt it, how it clicked, how feeling it and the knowledge behind it finally clicked for me. So one of the things that I was encouraged to do after getting divorced and living with a lot of trauma and the CPTSD was, obviously if I wanted to, it wasn't required, but was to join dating apps with the sole purpose, which is important to note, with the sole purpose in practicing saying no, practicing setting boundaries, practicing holding boundaries. I'm going to have a boundaries section in this series. For the beginning introduction to this series, click here. That explains slightly the trauma triangle a little bit. I'm going to go more in depth in these other videos. So I've had this similar conversation with several different men because I've been doing this for a couple of years now because I really needed to practice. Being marinated, I talk about in that other video, being marinated in the victim mindset, that's what I watched. When I say marinated, that's what my life was all about. The triangle happened before me all the time. But my dad is pretty much set in the victim mindset. Like that's his home base. So witnessing that and being around that for so long, you get marinated in that perspective. So that's what I'm going to talk about a lot today. So back to this recent guy, the epiphany guy, we're going to call it, that I finally connected it. Depending on how the conversation goes, I always, at some point during the conversation, bring up my top three non-negotiables. If you want to know more about creating non-negotiables, comment below non-negotiables and I will make a video on more of that, and I will get to some of them in a minute, but I just wanted to preface that. So I have the top three non-negotiables, and when you're the rescuer, we'll get into the rescuer thing when I get to that video, but when you're the rescuer, you're pretty much trained not to have boundaries. For two, the one that your needs and wants are negotiable, we'll just say it. So that's another reason why I've chosen to keep practicing, is because that needs to be my new marinade of it being a non-negotiable. So he failed the first two, but he kept on wanting to talk to me. So I tried the third. He did pass the third, and the third one is pretty substantial for me. So I'm like, well, maybe I could just talk to the guy. He doesn't live that close. Maybe we can have a decent conversation. I guess I always hold out hope that I can hold a conversation with the person and not have to necessarily date them. That's usually where I get tripped up, but I do learn from that too. I clearly communicated that I was more than happy to talk with him, but that dating wasn't an option, and I explained to him why. So I'm going to share with you one of my non-negotiables, and that's smoking. I am not going to date somebody who smokes, vapes, any of the above. And I am so super focused on health and wellness, that is just not going to happen. I don't want to kiss an ashtray. I don't know the chemicals that are related to that. We're just going to say I don't want to have an argument. That's not an argument I want to have. That's not a journey I want to go on if somebody's quitting. That's great. And I am more than happy to champion you as a friend, but I don't want that to be a part of a relationship, a romantic relationship. And that's basically exactly what I told him. So he kept on putting it back on me, saying, oh, I don't believe that he can do it, whatever. And so I just said, I never said that. I just don't want to be a part of that journey. I had a similar conversation with a different guy about finances. Somehow we got on the topic of finances, and which he brought up. And I think, I can't remember how, I think my response usually is, are you a saver or a spender? Because that's hugely important in a romantic relationship to know that, because my ex-husband was a spender and I'm a saver, and that was hugely harmful to our relationship, among other things. So I don't want to be with a spender. So we got, that particular guy, we got on this topic, and I told him that he was filing for bankruptcy, and I have gone down that path before with my ex-husband, and that is not a path I want to go down again. So I explained that. I'm like, I've been down this path before, and this is not a journey I want to take. I've been there. I don't want to do it again. And then, of course, want to blaming me that I don't want to date him because he's poor or whatever. That has nothing to do with it. It has everything to do with, I've been down the journey of walking with somebody who had to file bankruptcy, and I don't want to do that again. Simple as that. So you get backlash real bad. So what I'm talking about, to summarize that, is it's their emotional persistence in hopeful bargaining that will break you down. He kept on repeating, well, I'm going to need somebody to do it for, because I won't do it for myself. And then my response was, that's never going to work. You have to do those things for yourself. I am more than happy to be your friend and talk to you, and you can smoke and vape or whatever the heck you want to do. To do that for somebody else is never going to work. It doesn't. To make a change for somebody else never works. So this subtle pressure is what I've always been feeling. It's this subtle pressure that I'm supposed to fix that. I'm supposed to be the reason they quit smoking. It's sort of how that works. It's always this. Another example with my dad would be the fact that I think he keeps repeating or telling my daughter that I don't love him because I'm not helping him with my mom because he disowned me and told me I couldn't come over to the house anymore. And I'm not coming over to the house anymore, and he disowned me because I told him that I wasn't going to be sworn at and yelled at in person or via any means. He didn't like that boundary, so he decided to disown me. It's all about manipulation. So he has these woe is me messages, and I think that was one of the text messages that I messaged right before my epiphany. So that brings me to the epiphany moment. So we were texting, and it was nice. Then he started this woe is me thing. I think that was supposed to be his first day of quitting smoking or vaping or whatever it was. And I'm like, great job. I'm so proud of you. That's so great. How are you feeling? He must have used some kind of, I know how that's going to turn out, or that's probably never going to happen, or he probably got into one of those me loops. And at that moment, I was so sick and tired of hearing it. That is my big thing in life, which is good, that I've been so sick and tired of marinating in this woe is me conversational loop. I have no space for it. So I just reclarified my boundaries, and I'm happy that you're choosing to quit vaping. But I've been very clear from the beginning of this relationship that I can only offer you friendship. Well, of course, then I got the usual message that I need professional help. And by the way, if you ever get that message, you're not the one that needs professional help. That is the one thing that I took away from my marriage too, is that when conversations all of a sudden turn around that make absolutely no sense to you, that feel like they come out of left field, it's because you are being a mirror, and the person saying it sees their reflection, and all they can see is that person needs professional help. I think I had a record so far. I got that same comment from 2 different people in one day. It's usually right after you set a boundary and hold it. So boom, I'm the bad guy. So it's fascinating. That's the other reason I'm building up my tolerance to being the bad guy. I'm super practicing. I've been the bad guy my whole life, and that's another reason why I always went to the rescuer role, because I didn't want to be the bad guy. Well, once I have accepted, especially once I had kids, you're always the bad guy. Most of the time, when you're a parent, you're the bad guy. So I got really good at being the bad guy, and I don't care. So not too soon after that, I need professional help text, and then I blocked him. That on my walk, it hit me all of a sudden. That's the feeling of the victim. Like that whole you need professional help thing. No, I really don't. I set a boundary. I was clear on my boundary. I held my boundary, and you didn't like it. And the whole woe is me thing, I literally wrote down, I'm happy to talk to you about how your day was or whatever, but if we're gonna go in a oh woe is me circle, I'm done with the friendship. I think that was part of what I said right before he sent me the professional help thing. So I didn't rescue him. So at that moment, I held my boundary and I didn't rescue him. I didn't say, I don't even know what I would say anymore, which I think is so fantastic that I'd have to sit here and think about it. So I didn't rescue him. I just restated the boundary, and I don't want to have that conversation. I don't want to go in a loop. I even told my dad that in a conversation. He started looping. Oh, he wanted me to come over. This is when he didn't disown me yet. He wanted, because I have to drive past their house. It's not, but sort of, to go to do other things in the neighboring city. And he's like, I just want you to come over because he hates having to read his mail. He's like, well, I just need you to come over like 5 minutes a day, or 5 minutes every time you run past the house to read and check the mail and let me know if I need to address anything. No, I'm going to school for my bachelor's degree. I'm not going to stop over at your house every day to read your mail. No, you're a grown person. You can read your own mail. Then he went in a circle. He went in a circle over and over again on how I don't love him, how my childhood was so much better than his. If I sat here long enough, I could go into great detail on the circle. And I stopped him. I'm like, Dad, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that you feel this way. I can't help you. I have my own life that I need to live. I have my own responsibilities. And I'm not going to stop over at your house every day for 5 minutes to read your mail. I'm just not doing that. And I gotta let you go. He just wanted to keep going. So it took practice to stop rescuing and falling for the whatever they tell you. They'll always tell you something that you, as the rescuer, feel like you need to correct, or that you're not that person. I don't care. I don't care in my dad's story that he thinks I'm the bad guy. I don't care if I'm that person. I had to get over that real fast. That was the clincher for me. I don't care if in my story that I'm whatever person my dad wants me to label me as. In his story, I don't care, because in my story, I'm loving life and I'm at peace. So now I've learned from that more of that outside perspective, because I've marinated in my dad's victim mentality. But to see somebody else being, oh, woe is me, because I don't want to kiss an ashtray or have to deal with any of that drama of smoking, that's just something I don't want to deal with. It's just not. So seeing it from that perspective, having no ties, no basically relationship with this person, he's basically a stranger, and I'm just saying no, that I had the same feeling that I always had when I was growing up. Such a similar feeling, which is why I fell into that same spot a little bit. But I had the same body feelings that I never had a label to. And now I know that when I feel that subtle pressure to correct their view of me, or to reassure them about something that isn't my responsibility to reassure them about, or when they make assumptions, that's another one. Assumptions. When they make assumptions about me. He kept on saying, well, I don't believe he can do it. And I never said that. So as a reflection, I've been learning when I hear those things and I'm like, nope, never said that. Then I register the fact that that's what they think about themselves. They don't think they can do it. So now that I have that moment where I understand what that feeling means, I caught on to the circle I'm more familiar with catching, but in a different conversation to be able to end it sooner. When I feel or know that there's not going to be hope in a friendship, that I can just shut it down and be like, nope, I'm sorry, it's not going to work. So then I get to choose better. I get to choose better, choose faster, choose wiser. And then I actually have words and terms for that feeling and pattern that I never had before. So then that's going to protect me into not falling into that rescuer pattern as much, because I will recognize it, or I'll be able to, in a healthy relationship, I'll be able to communicate, hey, this is how I'm feeling. Is this what you meant? And have better language to communicate that. Have you ever been stuck in this triangle? If you've been stuck in this triangle, comment below. Let me know what role you've played, or what feeling that you have, or that what clarity you're looking for in digging deeper into this with me in the series. To binge watch other videos, click here. To check the next one out in the series, click here.